Good afternoon and welcome to this Excel learning video. So in Excel, many people use a feature called filtering. On the Data tab, you see the filter button, and what Excel will do for you is hide various records and show only certain records based on various criteria. Well, what if you don't want the original list to disappear or to hide? Is there a way to get around that? And the answer is yes. We can use what's called the filter function. So right over here, you see I have a handful of items with their quantities. And what I want to do is I want to show in this column here those items where the quantity is greater than zero. They're in stock. And then next to it, the opposite. Those items where the inventory is zero. So here's how we do it. I click on the cell where I want my answer. In this case, it's D6 equals filter left parenthesis. The first argument is the array of the items. So I'm going to click and drag from here to here, type my comma. I want to include the quantity column. I highlight that range, and if it's greater than zero, type in my closing paren, and voila. Isn't that pretty cool? Pretty cool. Now, to see if it worked is you'll notice that grapes and strawberries are not in the list. So now I want grapes and strawberries to be in this list, in the column next to it. So again, equal, filter, left parenthesis, same first argument, comma, same second argument, and I'm going to compare, is it less than or equal zero? Now, I don't think you can have a negative quantity, but it does allow you to have the less than sign and have it less than or equal to zero. So here we go, close my paren, and there's the grapes and strawberries. Pretty cool. All right. Again, that's called the filter function. And you do not have to hide the records that you want to filter on. You can create a separate list. And that's exactly what I did. I created two filters. Now, this is a twofer. What do you mean, Tom, a twofer? Well, I get this question a lot. Tom, I've got this big list, large list, and some of the fields are dates. So are they really dates or are they text? Because if they're text, I can't do any kind of calculations or formulas on them or even use them for pivot tables. So when you type the actual date, by default, it's right aligned, as you can see here. Now underneath it is left aligned because it's text, and you'll know that because I began the entry of this cell with apostrophe right there, which means Excel will treat it as text, not a number. And you'll see that that's left aligned. Well, looking at this right here, you can't tell which is which because what I also did was I center aligned it. So you can't tell. So is there a way to quickly tell without having to click on each cell one at a time, whether it's a formula or text? And the answer is yes. I can use the keyboard or I can use the mouse. Doesn't matter. I'll show you the mouse first. I will go to the Formulas tab, and right here is a button called Show Formulas. Watch what happens when I click it. If you see a date format like this, that means it's text. If you see a number, that means it's a serial number, which means it's an actual date from January 1st, 1900. That's how many days have transpired until today, April 14th, 2026, over 46,000 days. And that is Excel's way of telling me that it's an actual numeric entry, which could then be converted into a date. Okay, so I'll click on the Show Formulas button to turn it off, and then I'll use the keyboard. I will hold down the Control key and press the tilde. It'll do the same thing. The tilde button is right next to the number 1 on your keyboard on the upper left corner. It looks like a straight line after you had a couple. All right, so what I want to do now is share with you my email address, because you may have a question, not just in Excel, but anything in Microsoft Office, as well as Microsoft Copilot. And not just Copilot prompt engineering, but also using Copilot within Microsoft Office applications. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching.